We have breaking news coming out of Tulsa. The last three living survivors of the Tulsa Race Massacre had their day in court today. And the good news is that the motion to deny or to basically throw out their lawsuit that would allow the reparations lawsuit to go forward was denied by the judge. And so their lawsuit will be able to go forward. They do have standing to be able to seek their reparations claim. Before the hearing today, we live streamed the prayer rally held by Justice for Greenwood, the organization fighting for reparations for the survivors and their descendants. Tomorrow, attorney and founder of Justice for Greenwood, Solomon-Simmons, will be on the Roland Martin Unfiltered show to break down everything that happened at today's hearing. I do want to go to the panel really quickly for their quick reaction to this. I'm sorry, I know it wasn't in the program, but Dr. Malveaux, I'm going to start with you. Your reaction to this historic ruling that their lawsuit will continue to go forward in their seeking reparations for the Tulsa Massacre survivors.
This has been justice delayed but not denied. I'm jubilant. As you know, I'm a member of NARC, the National African American Reparations Commission, and we've been looking at Tulsa for a very long time. They've tried, going back to the late 80s when Charles Ogletree and Johnny Cochran were involved in attempting to get justice for these survivors. Moving forward, where Reverend Robert Turner, who was a pastor there, he just relocated to Baltimore, was out every Wednesday protesting, attempting to get justice for the people of Tulsa. So this is long overdue. But let's be clear, there are only 3 survivors. We don't even know how many people were killed in Tulsa. They try to limit the number, but we know it was much worse. We know that millions of dollars, not to mention the lives, the homes, the businesses. And it was only lost because of economic envy, because too many N-words, and the word they used in an official document was not Negro. Too many N-words had too much money. So it's over time to re-examine this, not only in terms of Tulsa and reparations, but also in terms of reparations nationally, and also in terms of essentially this whole attack and assault on truth by attacks on critical race theory. It's very ironic that Oklahoma was one of the first states that passed a law banning critical race theory, the state where we can document what they did. We can document, but they don't want to talk about it. And so I'm just jubilant. DeMario, brother who brought the case, a lot of legal maneuvering here to get this a nuisance. But hey, right on, brother. We can take it by whatever means necessary.
Well, I hear that. And it's interesting because part of the claim that they're using is, like you just mentioned, the nuisance claim, public nuisance claim, which is something that caused Johnson & Johnson lawsuit to be thrown out because the judge ruled in that case there had to be a specific crime towards a specific community. And as you just mentioned, Mr. Simmons has been able to do a lot of legal maneuvering to show proof, at least to this point. This has been 100 years in the making, Dr. Dibinga, and this could open up the floodgates for other massacres, and getting justice in those cases. What is your take on that? Do you think that this, was going to be politicized, and that context will hurt or hinder the case for this Tulsa Massacre reparations claim?
Well, I was applauding because, as Dr. Malveaux was saying, it's justice delayed but not denied. And of course, we're not done yet. But I think that, yes, it is going to be politicized. And yes, it is good. People are going to do their best to hinder this case because that's what they do. That's what they're born to do, is to obstruct. And, I'm just, it's one of these bittersweet moments because we have these 3 survivors who already experienced something so heinous as children, by the way.
Yes.
To see what happened, that trauma that has been with them for their entire lives, and we can't even give them the dignity that they deserve right now, and not even having to have these cases. They shouldn't even have to be brought because they should have already received what they need. I mean, we're talking about a situation where people were flying, private citizens were dropping bombs on this community. How hard is it to find the people who own the planes, for example? Like if you care to do the investigation. And this happened all across the country where these mobs intentionally wiped out communities because of economic jealousy, as Dr. Malvo was saying. So I'm happy that this is happening, but I'm really frustrated at the fact that our elders have been treated like this. I saw some of their testimony earlier this year, and they deserve, we do reparations for so many different groups. And, you know, we talked earlier about justice for Ukraine and all of these other types of things. But what are we doing for our own people at home while we support all of these other initiatives as relates to human and equal rights? And I can't think of a single group in this country that deserves the type of reparations more so than those three individuals. Enough of it already.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, just like you said, imagine the trauma they've gone through and had to jump through hoops after hoops after hoops. We're talking about congressional, testimony and lawsuits, but finally they have their day in court. I do want to welcome attorney and founder of Justice for Greenwood, Demario Solomon-Simmons. Yay! Welcome to Roland Martin Unfiltered on these great, joyous news. Please, first of all, we celebrate you and we appreciate all of your work and advocacy. For the viewers, can you give us even more insight into what exactly today's victory in court means?
Yes, absolutely, Reese, and everybody else. It's so good to see you all. Listen, we're excited. The judge, we didn't really expect that she would rule from the bench today, but she did. And she granted in part their motion to dismiss, and she dismissed, and she overruled in part. What that means is that we're moving forward. Okay. All right, so it's the first time in 100 years that a case that was filed related to the Tulsa Race Massacre is moving forward. It's never happened before in history. That's the great news. The unknown is we don't know what that means yet about how we're going to move forward because she's going to file her order. We don't know what claims she's taken out. We don't know what our discovery schedule would be. We don't know when we will have our next day in court. But we do know we will have another day in court, and we do know we're moving forward. And I tell you what, to see the community come out, the courtroom was literally standing room only. It was hundreds of people there. And our 3 living survivors, my clients, to see them there hearing this, it's after so many years of losing so many survivors, and to see them so happy to move forward, it's just an unbelievable experience. I'm still trying to take it all in.
It really is unbelievable. And I want to linger a little bit more on this 100-year aspect. Like you said, it's the first time that this has even gotten this far in 100 years. Can you talk a little bit about what you guys have managed to do? And it's not a critique on anybody else who didn't necessarily succeed, but what was different in this particular court case in terms of the strategy, or I mentioned earlier precedent from maybe the Johnson & Johnson ruling before from the Oklahoma Supreme Court that laid the path for this victory today?
Yeah, we definitely stand on the shoulders of everyone that's been fighting this fight from even during the massacre. You know, it's important to state that, yes, our community was eventually overcome, but they fought even on May 31st, 1921. And they started the legal battle on June 2nd, 1921. You know, great legal minds like B.C. Franklin was filing cases while he was working out of a tent. We have those pictures. And so we are building upon all of those ancestors who have made a way. In the previous cases, the one that I worked on as a baby lawyer, working with Charles Ogletree and Johnny Cochran in the early 2000s, I thought that case should have been successful. I think racism was the reason it did not move forward, but that was a federal civil rights case that dealt with statute of limitation issues. Mm-hmm. This particular case is a public nuisance case. So we studied this issue. We worked on it for over a year before we filed. We compiled an amazing team of lawyers and people from around the country, people like Roland Martin and our lawyers and our co-counsel who just came together in Color of Change and Equal Justice Initiative and Legal Defense Fund, and Angela Ra, Tiffany Cross, our great co-counsel at Schulte, Ralston, Zabel, and so many other people that I can't name everyone. And we all believed in this. And last year on the centennial, when so many people came to Tulsa and said, hey, they wanted to celebrate the centennial, we said then at our press conference on June 1st, 2021, that as when everybody else leaves, we're going to be focused on this issue, and we want to get justice before these last known living survivors die. And I think that's just what it was. This is not like a novel scenario. We're not creating a new law. Like, we're utilizing the law that was on the books, been on the books since 1910. We were just blessed to look at it in a certain way and to work it out as a team. This is a team effort, a community effort, a nationwide effort of Black folks.
I love that you're really highlighting that it really takes a village to push the needle forward. So often, we get checked out, and we kind of throw our hands up. But it really took all hands on deck on every facet. You didn't just name out legal people, you named out media folks and community activists. So it's important for those watching to understand the power that we have as a collective, irrespective of your particular background. I want to go to Dr. Malveaux on this.
I'm sorry, I got to get to another hit, but I just want to make sure I got on the Roland Martin show because this is my people. I love you guys. Y'all still with us. Nobody else is with us. Came down here during the centennial. I'll be on tomorrow, my regular show on Tuesday. We'll talk more. I love all of y'all.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay, I thought we had a little bit more time, but you know what? That's what it's all about. We love when folks come to Black media when the news breaks, not, later on down the line after they did all the white shows. So shout out to Demario Solomon-Simmons for all of his advocacy and for making time for Roland Martin Unfiltered tonight.
All right, folks, back to that Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punches! I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay Black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?